Welcome back to the Wisdom Advantage podcast. I'm Anna Morgan, and this is our Fun Facts companion episode, the lighter, faster, slightly more surprising little sister to the main episode. We do the big lesson in one episode, and then over here we pull out the stories, the numbers, and the things that make you stop and go, wait, really?
I'm Tom Morgan, and apparently my daughter has come armed with facts today. She says there are 3 of them that are going to surprise me. She's usually very pleased with herself when she says that.
Because I'm usually right. Okay, preview. First, people over 50 control more than 70% of disposable income in developed countries, and most businesses still market like those people barely exist.
That one I believe immediately.
Second, the brain actually gets better at certain kinds of thinking as we age. Not worse, better.
That's where you lose me a little.
And third, Vera Wang. Yes, that Vera Wang didn't design a single dress until she was 40.
I don't know who Vera Wang is.
Dad, you will by the end of this episode.
Fair enough.
Now, this all connects back to our main lesson this week, which is simple. If you're 45 plus, your age is not a liability in business. It's an advantage. And not in a cheesy, motivational poster kind of way. I mean in a measurable, practical, money on the table kind of way.
Yeah, we said in the main episode that younger people may have speed, but older people have judgment, experience, credibility, the stuff customers actually pay for. So if you've been feeling like AI and online business are somehow a young person's game, this is the episode where we knock that idea over.
Exactly. Because once you see the market and the science and the timing, it gets very hard to keep telling yourself, well, maybe I missed my chance.
All right then, start with the money. Money gets my attention faster than neuroscience.
Great. So here's the first one. People over 50 control roughly 70 to 75% of all disposable income in the United States and in other developed countries. That's enormous. And global wealth held by people over 50 is estimated to be on track toward $84 trillion by 2030.
84 trillion, with a T.
With a T. And here's the part that should make every entrepreneur sit up straight. Despite all that spending power, people over 50 get only around 10% of consumer advertising and marketing attention.
So let me get this straight. The people with the most money are getting the least attention.
Pretty much. Researchers call this the longevity economy, this huge, underserved market of adults over 50 who still want solutions, guidance, products, services, community, all of it. But they want it spoken to in a way that respects their actual lives.
That's the key, isn't it? Respect. Most marketing aimed at older adults either talks down to them or ignores them.
Yes, and that is exactly why this is such an opportunity for entrepreneurs in this age group. You are this customer. You understand what they worry about, what they want, what annoys them, what they'll pay for, and how they want to be spoken to.
That's not a tiny edge. That's the whole ballgame.
And AI makes it easier to reach them without some huge team or giant ad budget. That's the business part.
All right, now give me the science part. Convince me the brain isn't just rattling around slower as we get older.
Okay, so there's a concept called crystallized intelligence. And Dad, before you say it,
Explain it like I'm Tom Morgan.
there it is. All right, there are broadly 2 kinds of cognitive ability people talk about. Fluid intelligence is raw processing speed, working memory, solving brand new problems on the fly. That tends to peak younger and then gradually slow down. That's real.
So far, unpleasant, but believable.
But crystallized intelligence is different. That's accumulated knowledge, judgment, pattern recognition, vocabulary, knowing how things fit together, seeing the shape of a problem because you've seen 20 versions of it before. That keeps growing well into your 60s and 70s, and maybe later.
So you lose a little speed, maybe, but you gain better judgment.
Right. And for business, especially online business, that's huge. Understanding customers, spotting bad deals, writing clearly, choosing a niche, seeing what people actually need, not falling for every shiny trend. That's not 22-year-old reflex speed. That's judgment.
So the thing people assume is declined may actually be the tool you need most.
That's what makes this so interesting. The kinds of intelligence that matter in business don't disappear at midlife. In a lot of cases, they deepen.
All right, I'll give you that one. Now, who's this Vera Wang person, and why is she in my podcast?
Because her story is a perfect example of experience compounding. Vera Wang became one of the most famous wedding dress designers in the world. Celebrities, athletes, royalty, she's the name. But she didn't design a dress until she was 40.
What was she doing before that?
First, she was a competitive figure skater and tried for the U.S. Olympic team in 1968. Didn't make it. Then she pivoted and spent 17 years as a senior editor at Vogue. So she was in fashion, yes, but not designing dresses herself.
And then what happened?
At 39, she got engaged, went looking for a wedding dress, couldn't find one she liked, and decided to design her own. Her father gave her $1 million to open a bridal boutique when she turned 40, and she built from there.
Most people don't get the $1 million part.
No, and that's not really the point. The point is, all the years before that mattered. Skating gave her discipline. Vogue taught her taste and standards, and what elegant actually looked like. Her own frustration revealed the gap in the market.
She didn't pivot away from her experience. She built on top of it.
Exactly. That's it. And that's the pattern most people miss. The later win often looks sudden from the outside, but it's built on decades of unseen preparation. And that brings us to timing, because this part really is a drum roll. The oldest baby boomers turned 79 this year. The youngest are turning 61. So the largest, wealthiest generation in American history is moving into a life stage where they're looking for guidance, community, practical help, new skills, second-act careers, all of it.
And at the same time, AI has lowered the barrier to entry.
Exactly. For the first time, the market is massive, and the technology barrier is dramatically lower. One person, even somebody with no technical background, can use AI to write content, build a website, create emails, organize ideas, draft offers, and reach people at a scale that used to require a whole staff.
Those two things haven't lined up before. That's what matters.
Yes, and in the United States, about 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every single day. Every day. That's not some little niche tucked away in a corner of the market. That's a wave.
Which is why your sign-off line had better be good.
I'm working on it. But really, the people best positioned to serve this market are the people living in it or right next to it. Not some 25-year-old growth marketer trying to guess what a 68-year-old wants. Someone who actually understands the season of life, the concerns, the hopes, the language.
That's the overlooked part. Older entrepreneurs don't just know things, they know people like themselves. And if you know the customer deeply, AI can help you do the heavy lifting, but AI can't give you wisdom, it can't give you credibility, it can't give you 40 years of pattern recognition.
That's why this moment is so unusual. The tools are new, but the advantage isn't. The advantage is still your experience. AI just helps you package it, communicate it, and get it into the world faster.
So here's my takeaway. The market is enormous, the technology is ready, and the brain you've been building for 40 or 50 years is exactly the right tool for the job. The only thing left is deciding to use it.
That's the whole point of today's Fun Facts episode. Your age is not the problem to solve, it's the asset to deploy.
If you want a simple challenge this week, go look up the phrase longevity economy. Spend 15 minutes on it, just 15. You'll come back seeing this opportunity very differently.
And when you're ready to turn that insight into an actual business, that's what we're building at The Wisdom Advantage.
No fluff. No pretending you need to be 28 to matter. You don't. You've got wisdom. Use it now.
I'm Anna Morgan. We'll see you next time.
And I'm Tom Morgan. The wave is coming. Get on it. Visit go.thewisdomadvantage.org. Bye, Anna.
Bye, Dad.